Yes, great. So, welcome. I'm not Thomas, I'm Mikke. Um, I'm the CTO of Digitalist Open Cloud, and I've been doing Matomo for years before it was called Matomo. And the recent years, I've been doing created some plugins and also contributed to other plugins. And I'm part of a company called Digitalist Open Cloud, same as Thomas. So I'm going to talk about bots, and they have also could be named scraper or SEO tools or vulnerability checkers or whatever, but I'm just calling them bots, like some automatic thing visiting the site. And according to this, statistics are from Imperva. Almost 50% of the visitors today on that website comes from bots. And 32% are bad bots. And most likely there will be even more bots in the coming years. So this is it's pretty bad that it looks like this. So you need to take control of the bad bots because they are exploiting business logic and also could scrape all your sites and put up a copy somewhere and do other things and use your data in a way you don't like the data to be used. One common use case today is like ChatGPT scraping or Byte Spider or something else. So your data should only be shared with the ones you want to share it with. So that's the idea of controlling the bots. So I'm going to talk about the plugin Bot Tracker. I'm the current maintainer of that. I was created many years ago by Thomas Bassett, I think it's his name. And we took it over as part of upgrading the plugin to Matomo 5. So, which bots can be tracked? It's before, if you go back some years, most bots were not using browsers to access the site. Very common today is to use something called a headless browser. So it mimics how it looks and behaves on the site when the bot comes to the site. So they do execute JavaScript, and if they do this, it can be tracked with the bot tracker. And the increasing amounts of bots is going from doing like normal requests to doing the headless stuff, because much of the web today is JavaScript based, so they cannot access the content if they cannot execute JavaScript. So, and if you execute JavaScript, it can be tracked with the Matomo tracking. But also you could use, if you want to do more behind the scenes tracking, you can use the Matomo log analytics and if you use it as it is, it will not work with the bot tracker. But in the bot tracker plugin repo, there is a patch you can use to patch log analytics to get the data into the plugins reports. So that's a little bit of work needed to get that data if you want to use bot tracker together with the logs. But it's a pretty simple patch to apply. So Bot Tracker itself is using two ways to identify bots. The first two dots here is pretty the same thing. So you add checks for user agent strings, and they are in the plugin. There are some default bots added. That's the most common bots, more or less, that you can inject with a simple click. But you can also add your own user agent strings. I'm going to show you the UI pretty soon. But also, we added a report called other bots. That's a little bit bad naming maybe, but then we are using the Matomo device detector. That's a real good Matomo plugin to get the user agents and compare it with the database for the device detector and see if it is a bot or not. So that's one of the reports you could get with the bot tracker. It's a little bit how the user interface looks like. So you can add, this is a default bots, but you're adding with the plugin. So, and it's looking for like Amazon bot. Amazon bot is used, we think it's used, some of its use cases of the bots we don't really know, but that is used for training the AI things that Amazon are using in different contexts. Bing bot is one of the good bots. It's a search bot. Ahrefs bot is also one of the good bots because they normally you add doing some SEO research on site and you use that bot. Adding new bots is pretty simple. You just add the name, that it could be whatever, and a keyword. And the keyword is the user agent string that you are looking for. In the repo for this plugin, there are some links to collections of different user agents and if they are good or bad. So sometimes it is like a combination of having an analyze of your logs to check the most common user agents and add them to the bot tracker plugin to track them. And the reason you want to track them could be you don't want to ban them from the site. It could be a good bot like Bing bot, and then you could analyze how often and how many pages it has visited on the site. So tracking bots is not only to find the bad bots and block them later on the server, it's also to find the good bots and see what we are doing on the site. You could add define bots in a file and upload them and add them to Matomo. Is pretty straightforward. With this, the tracking data of the bot track is it's not so much tracked. It's just a visit. So it get like, okay, this has visited once, 2, 3, many times. But also could add some extra stats. The extra stats is you get to know which pages has been visited with which bot. But normally you wouldn't want to track that data for all the bots because it's more or less data in the database that maybe you will not be useful. But for like checking if Google or Bing have been visiting the URLs you want, you could add the extra stats and track them to see that you have a correct, it's working with integration with the search engine. The so-called other bots detection is configuration that you need to do in the general settings, then you just enable that, and then it's enabled for all sites. That's no option right now to choose which site you're going to track the bots for. I'm going to add that later on, or hopefully someone will contribute back and add that feature. So it should be pretty simple thing to change. There are some widgets and reports for the bot tracker that are included. So this is I analyzed logs from a client, and this is the bot visits for 1 day. So, and this is like medium sized, or not like a real big site, but yeah. So there is for 1 day. So there's quite a lot of bots visiting the site. And here you see Bite Spider. That's one of the bots that I normally recommend that should be blocked because we don't know what they are doing with the data, and it's categorized as a bad bot. It's TikTok running that Bite Spider thing. We think it's used for AI training, or yeah, we don't really know what's doing with the data. So, and you get like reports like this, and all the reports you can also export. So this one you could export for like Excel, and this one you could export as an image. And the extra stats reports looks something like this. You get both the page they are visited and when, and also the use agent string for the bot. The other bots, when we're using the device detector, when using that setting, the one you have chosen are not included in this report. So it's like separation of different kind of bots. And here you can see it's not like so extremely many visits of these bots. And that's because also the default settings that comes with the plugin has the most common bots. So this is other bots, like the name. And some upcoming features I'm been working on is to get more intuitive way of working with the bot visit and helping the site owners to block them or control them or whatever. So I will add an analyze for the robots.txt file, if that exists, that really should exist on every site, and compare it with trackbots. It's also going to be if you are blocking something in robots.txt and it's still visiting and crawling your site, you know it's a bad bot. We also will have a robots.txt generator and also some classification of bots and separate reports, like for search bots, known bad bots, etc. Yeah, that's it. It's a pretty short one, but I'm going to just take a quick peek in this one. So just to talk a little bit around the subject. So if 50% of the visitors are bots, it also means that you need like maybe not double size server, but you need more resources to run your site just because of the bots. So if you normally could like, okay, I know which bots to block, and you do it on the server side, then we don't get the reports of that because they are blocked. But it also could be very good to use the other bots report to see if you get an increase of some special bot that you don't want to visit your site, and then you can block it later on. So, and that would save the server costs, that would save the environment because you don't need so much resources to run your site. So this is very important to, as a site owner, to be both proactive and reactive when you have the data of bots coming to your site, and mostly like new bots, because there are extremely amount of bots out there. So it could be like a hard task to track and stop all the bad bots, because there are new bad bots almost every day at this moment. And with the AI coming big in this also, there's going to be much more scraping of information from the site and doing things with your content and like you don't want them to have access to. So I normally recommend to block the most common AI bots like ChatGPT, Amazon bot, and Apple bot, and the other ones, and ByteSpider. That's really ByteSpider could really take down your site if you are having like a bad caching. So with that, I'm a little bit jumping around here, but so it's a pretty short presentation, but I'm open for questions about bots in general and Bot Tracker in particular.
Thank you very much, Mikke, for your presentation. So we have a question from someone we don't know who it is. His name is Thomas Pearson. Never heard of him. So thanks once more, Thomas. Can you explain, Mikke, simply how bots are blocked in a simple way?
So normally, that's simple way is if you have access to your server and could add it to the configuration. If you run an Nginx or Apache, there are simple ways to block user agents in that way. If you use a CDN, there are normally also even settings that you can choose which to block which kind of user agents. But also some of the bad bots are looking into robots.txt, and if you say don't visit my site if you are this bot, they go away. So it's a little bit like use robots.txt to try to have control of a bot's visit, and a combination on also blocking the most bad bots in Nginx or Apache or whatever you are using to serve your site. So yeah, it's pretty simple if you know the user agent. And also that's also one part I'm going to add to the documentation for a plugin, that how you could do it in like which things to use in which cases to block the bad bots.
Okay, I have a question for myself. Actually, I have a lot of them because that's a burning topic. Have you ever think about visitor profile enrichment for people who would like to track bots and let's say send information as custom dimension, giving the name of, let's say, the bots, or finding a picture in order to represent the company of the bots which is representing it? So let's say consider bots as a real visitor, but just in order to send it to one specific website ID, which is just tracking bots. Because so far, every time that I'm seeing the use of bot tracking, it's mostly for bot tracking exclusion rather than bot tracking inclusion. I think in the log imports, we only have a feature to exclude the bot, but not to include exclusively the bot and exclude the visitor, so that we can get one specific website ID for bot tracking only.
Yeah. I don't really follow the question. Sorry.
Sorry. The question is like, have you ever considered creating a filter, but to exclude all the visitors except bots in order to track only bots in one single website ID? That's my question.
Yeah. Yeah, that maybe could be done in some way, but it's also it's really like you don't want the data of the bots to be mixed with the other data. So it's I think separation is good, and just to I think that the way bot tracker plugin works is like it's just excluded.
Okay.
So you get the reports for the bots, but when a bot visit come, it doesn't get included with the other data. So there are other ways to also control this. You could also add like reports for tracking behavior if the visitor in a short time frame is doing like this a lot of pages. You know this could be a bot.
Okay.
So that's also a way of doing it.
Okay, but more from a CTO perspective, do you think that there will be kind of an easy way in order to say, okay, just include me only the bots in this given website ID and exclude me the real visitors?
Yeah, I think looking at what we can do inside Matomo today, that's a lot of things you can do, of course. But I think this how bot tracker plugin is doing it is just one solution. So the other solutions are also valid, of course. But yeah, I don't really know how I should have done that, because I'm not that kind of user of Matomo. I'm most like back-end user. So maybe Thomas or some other working for us has some ideas around that, but I don't really know how to do that.
No, no problem. I was just more thinking, like, when you are dealing with SEO or that kind of thing, you are sometimes interested in just knowing what the bots are doing, and there are bot tracking solution already out there. So the idea was just to think about it. So you show us a plugin, which is the bot tracking community plugin. I just wanted to know, because at the end you are mentioning improvements. So are you doing a fork of the plugin? Are you creating your own plugin? Is it are you contributing with the existing plugin to it? I just would like to know, because as far as I remember, when I studied this plugin in particular, it was saying something like from the developer of it, like, hey, I'm just working on the free time on this given plugin. I don't have much time to make improvements, and I'm just wondering about, are you collaborating with him, or is it feature that you're pushing?
I've taken over it because they didn't have time. So it's all the development is done by us.
Okay.
So we took over it in December, I think. So it's not a fork. It's the plugin you find on the marketplace is one that we are demonstrating.
Wow, that's super neat. I didn't know that. Thank you for contributing with another member of the community. There is one given feature that I would be interested in knowing about, is like, have you ever think about, so when you are a web hosting provider, you are most of the time charging your end user based on number of hits or the number of actions they're performing. Would you have you think about a KPI in order to say overall these existing bots which have been recorded cost you that amount of hits or something like this?
Not really. We're it's like when we exclude the bots from the normal data, the amount of resources that's needed to be used for presenting reports for the other parts is not like this is just some tables that has some data, so it's not so heavy on the resource thing. It could grow, the tables could grow endless if you have that amount of bots, but we also should have like this kind of data should also be short-lived, and you can I'm going to add like a feature just to clean up empty old data, so it's not like so heavy on the resource side.
And in fact, I have another one, but which is linked to this one, is like, have you ever considered about having a KPI which is indicating the carbon consumption that the bots are taking out of it? So that's as well.
I'm working on that.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a little bit tricky, because you for bot you could have like every request is like a resource, but also it's like a request could be big, so you because it's like loading a page with a lot of images and a lot of other content. So you need to have the size of a page and what kind of resources are on the page, like a video on YouTube. That's not your emission, but it's YouTube's emission, like that kind of stuff. So, but also I'm using this is maybe going to be an add-on in general as a plugin. And maybe a premium plugin, I don't know, because the amount of time invested in this could be a lot, because it also need to use like scientific data and compare it with like which this server is this running on green energy or not, and so it's a very complex task to get it like right. But you could also do like the amount of bot traffic, like and the amount of normal visitors, and you could do the comparison there as a simple KPI. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. I do have another question. Have you seen any new trends in terms of bot behavior? I'm saying this because you mentioned, I think during the conference, that it was kind of easy to identify that the number of actions is getting really high for one single individual, which means that high chances that this is a bot. But have you experienced some nasty, let's say, spam bot behavior, such as injecting just one single very complicated action, for example, an abandoned card with, I don't know, 30 products within it? Have you seen such strange behavior coming from potential bots at all?
Not really yet, I would say, but it could be like imagine also like bots create strange URLs and they add like a huge amount of a long string, and but also they are so the URL are long and they have like weird things in them. Then you know it's also maybe could be bot, but in general I haven't seen that kind of behavior, but I will expect it. So I think it's
okay. I'm currently looking at the chat and I cannot see any questions left. Same question as all the speakers. Do you have any questions that you would have expect to come from the audience that you didn't have today, that you would like to ask to yourself and answer it?
no, I haven't thought about that. Sorry.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah. just nervous having a presentation. That's enough.
No problem, I understand. Then in this case, thank you very much, Mikke, for everything that you are doing for the community. So maybe just as a conclusion, maybe you could mention the different community plugins that are available from you on the marketplace, because it's true that people may not know your expertise or who you are, but I know that you are a great community member of the Matomo community.
Yeah, we can do that. That's not mine, that's Jorge's. I just talked before. So the plugins we are, let's see if I can find one of them. Blah, 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 blah. Center. Oh, this one.
Yeah, it has been released recently.
Yeah. I do recommend not using Center though. You're using glitch tip steps. That's open source totally. But there should be some link. Yeah, more from this developer. Yeah. So this is the 5 plugins that we actively work with and contribute to the community. It's a bot tracker that we've taken over. User console is a terminal tool to extend what you can do with the user from the terminal. Extra tools is a little bit the same, but more for like installing Matomo, taking backups and other stuff. I'm adding like a bunch of features to that when I have time to work on it. So it's like an expanding tool. Tracker domain is used for when you have tracking on one URL and dashboard on another URL. So it's just a simple JavaScript plugin that injects the domain for the tracker. And the Sentry plugin that also we have taken over, that sounds like errors inside Matomo from JavaScript or PHP side to a Sentry compatible backend. Could be glitch tip, could be Sentry, whatever. So that's for error tracking inside Matomo. So these 5, we have some other ones we're working with that were not listed yet, but will come. So our main focus to contribute back to Matomo is to do plugins.
Awesome. So thank you very much for all your work and conference, Mick. I wish you a great day and hope you're enjoying Matomo Camp Nordic. So let's go now for a 20 minutes break, and we will continue back Matomo Camp with the next conference about plugin development with Jorge Carvajal. Thank you.